Hey y'all, Natalie here for a cherry on top, and today we're going to talk about creating with only one piece of paper. So say you have an older stash collection or you have a new favorite collection that you were only able to get your hands on one piece of paper from the collection. Never fear, you can use all of your supplies and a little bit of cardstock and create embellishments on your own and other elements to match that single sheet of paper. So I have this North Pole Trading Co. piece of paper called Frosty, I think it is, from Photoplay. And this was the only page from this collection that I grabbed. My plan was to use those new pink fresh dies to cut see-through circles until you saw right there my die cut plate is smaller than those pages. Those are the exact sizes of the pages that I wanted, so it wouldn't run through my die cut machine. So I'm going to fake it and I'm going to gut the paper so that you're not going to be able to see the part that I pulled out, so that I can use that piece that I gutted to cut circles out and kind of fake the look that I was going for here. So I gutted that red paper as well. It's just a piece of cardstock that matches the red snowflake. So I used my pink fresh die to cut some circles in the red as well as in the pattern paper. And then I used a regular circle die cut to cut around the frame of the pink fresh die that stays on the initial paper. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but it gives you two impressions of the design that is around the die. So I wanted both of those. So like little frames around my original circles. So now I'm going to use this Catherine Pooler Snowflake stamp set to embellish that background craft cardstock. Now I'm going to use VersaFine ink, Versamark ink, and emboss some gold as well as some like kind of clear glassy kind of embossing powder. And so basically, if you only have one sheet of paper from a collection, but you want a coordinating sheet, you can just make your own by stamping. You can use stamps from your set that coordinate like these snowflakes, or you could use stripes or polka dots, pretty much a basic stamp that would go with any collection, just depending on what colors you decide to use. A grid design, let's see, florals, whatever is a good complementary paper pattern to the pattern on the single sheet that you are using. So I will let you watch me heat up that gorgeous gold glitter wow embossing powder because it's so satisfying, right? And I just did a random bit on the paper, made sure to run a couple off of the edges so that it looks organic and natural. And now you can see I've done more stamping, and I'm going to do this glassy kind of thing, and it basically looks clear on top of the cardstock, which is really pretty. It looks like a snowflake melted on there maybe or something like that. So that was just to give a complementing sheet of paper to my single pattern piece of paper, which I don't have an accompany for. So I'm going to rough up the edges here, and then I'm going to adhere down my mats right there at the top of that pattern paper. And now you never know that I gutted it to get those circles, right? It just looks like I used another piece of paper. So I have this cute photo of my son from last Christmas, and I printed the journaling about it on this grid paper from Heidi Swap, and I'm gonna stick it in the middle of that large red circle as a mat. He was asking me what is Pennsylvania, because we were listening to that Christmas song that references Pennsylvania. And he said it sounds like Transylvania, so he asked if there were monsters there. So I'm going to play around with how to design this. I've gone all over the place a little bit. Those gorgeous letters are from Memory Box. They're a new die set that the store carries, a cherry on top carries, and they're wood grain. So of course I had to cut them out of glitter paper at first. I think they're sold out, but they also were sold out the first time I noticed them, and they came back. So I think plenty of people want them, so they'll keep bringing them back. So I'm gonna change up the way that I had my circles. I'm just kind of layering them up, making sure they all touch one another. And then I'm also gonna put those little frames I cut around them. So like a pattern paper frame is gonna go around the cardstock's solid cardstock and vice versa. So that's what I'm doing here. It's a little bit delicate, a little bit hard to get it down as a perfect circle just because it's really thin, but I do get it. And that's going to be an anchor for my title. Like I said, I like everything to overlap and touch. It kind of brings the cohesion to the page. So letting that circle touch the photo a little bit and then overlapping the title on top of that brings cohesion to the page. I mean, really, look at those letters. They are so gorgeous. I'm going to cut wood grain letters out of every paper I own. I'll link all these things down below. There's also an affiliate link to the store if you want to go shopping at A Cherry on Top. They always have so many fun new things. So yeah, that's how you create a page with embellishments when you don't have embellishments for the pattern paper that you have. I really didn't add much more. I did go back and add some little gold jewels. Oh, there we go. So I used that same stamp set to create die cuts now instead of a pattern paper. So I used a Distress Oxide that was the same color as that red paper. And I stamped the solid image onto this white cardstock. And now I'm going to go back and do the same embossing technique I did on that background paper. And I'm going to emboss gold on top of these stamps. Now, Distress Oxide is a stamp that you can use to emboss, so you have to make sure that it is completely dry before you try to do Versamark on top of it. I didn't get the crispest image because I probably didn't let it dry exactly long enough, but you can tell that they are snowflakes, so I'm cool with it. So I just embossed these with the gold glitter, and then I made sure to get all the embossing powder off that I could because it did want to stick like all over the image, as you can see there. So I really flicked it hard to make sure it stuck only on the snowflake image, not on the solid image. And then I run them through my die cut machine because this set of stamps has dies with it. That I love to buy stamps and dies like that because I can use them as embellishments, which is what I'm doing here. So basically I just made my own die cuts and they match that background single sheet of paper that I had perfectly. And I'll sprinkle them around the page just as I would any other pack of a die cut ephemera that I buy from the company. I also die cut some other, those gold snowflakes out from another snowflake die that I have in my set or in my collection. And that's about it. I cut it out of the same glitter paper that I cut the title so that it coordinated. And now it looks as though I had bits from this paper photo play collection when all I really had was the one single pattern piece of paper, and I went from there. So I let it inspire all of my embellishments, and it wasn't a lot of hard work. It was just using my die cut machine and dies that I already had in my collection. I did, like I said, go through and add some gold dots or some gold gems, and that's about it. There you can see them. Anyway, I hope you were inspired to just use a single sheet of paper from a collection that you may have floating around your stash. I'm going to link down below with my affiliate link, and I'd love for you to like and follow. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.